So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that it's one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them. God, I thank you for today. I thank you for a beautiful day you have given us to come and to share and to build one another. And so I just pray that you'll be with us from the beginning until the end. I pray all these things in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Hey guys, welcome everybody. I'm glad to see everyone here today. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Appreciate you guys for joining me here. I want to ask you guys one thing, that if you can copy this link and share with someone. All right. It's very important that this conversation and these talks that we're having here every single day, it goes out there to as many people as it can. We have to reach to many Africans, as many as we can, because it is necessary. It is necessary to have uncomfortable talks, uncomfortable conversations, and it's important to have suggestions, to have ideas, to have opinions and thoughts. It's pretty much the same thing about this beautiful continent. And if I have people who love Africa watching here right now, I think you'll agree with what I'm saying right now. All right. I changed the thumbnail and the name, the title of this video, not so long ago. So maybe you guys, you don't see the title there, but the conversation of today, I just want to talk a little bit about aggressiveness. And this is my opinion. I want to say this again. This is my opinion according to my evaluation and what I see, what is happening out there, that there's a lackness of aggressiveness when it comes to us defending and fighting for Africa, and that's why the way that I form question is that why Africans, why we are not aggressive enough to bring the change to Africa, to bring the change that Africa needs. This is based again on my evaluation. That might not be true to somebody else who is watching here, but according to me, I think there's a lack of aggressiveness in our hearts, in us as Africans, to defend and to change this continent. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about every single African out there. All right. I'm not separate between the normal citizen and leaders, or I'm not doing that, but I'm talking about every single African out there, whether you're a leader of the country or you're not a leader of the country, just a normal citizen. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. That the level of aggressiveness to bring the change that Africa needs to see the change in the continent, I think is pretty much lower than other parts of the earth. And I think that's the reason why we are still where we are today. You can take different kind of examples. You can, see how things have been run in Africa. You can see how things, the visions of the nations and the visions of our countries. You can check it out and see and understand that the level of aggressiveness is not where it should be. It's not where it's supposed to be. And in this case, for me today, I will take just one country because it's very important to learn. All right. I always say this, that the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And I got to tell you this, man, like my goal of my life is that every single day I want to learn something new, right? And it doesn't matter. I can learn that something new from my friend, or when I just move around the street. I can learn when I travel, I go to another country. I can learn when I listen to you guys and have a conversation. That's why I love having conversations with different innovators, with different creators, in Africa. I love having conversation with them because I get to learn. And the only way to grow is to learn. The only way to grow is to study. The only way to grow is to expose yourself, to let yourself see different things, hear different people, and do different things. That's the only way for you to grow and to be in another level, to be in a better level than where you are right now. So in this case today, I want to take a study case today, all right? And I want to take a country that is outside of Africa. I want to take Dubai. You guys have seen the profile, the thumbnail of this video. Yes, that is me in Dubai. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but that is me in Dubai. And I want to take Dubai as a study case. There's one video that I'm going to bring in the coming days for you guys to see. And there's a very interesting things I've been talking in that video, and I would love to share with you guys. I actually uploaded right now, but I think I'll release it a little bit later. And maybe during this stream today, I might show you guys. But there's something very significant I've learned when I went to Dubai. There's something very, very significant that I learned. You guys know the history of Dubai, and if you don't know, let me show you something here on the on the screen. Let me show you something here. When you look at the history of Dubai, the Dubai before and Dubai after, you are not going to to believe. And I know a lot of you guys have seen things like that. I've seen pictures, but I want to show you guys visually for you guys to see. All right, I want to show you guys visually for you guys to see and to understand what I'm talking about, to see visually the Dubai you used to know and the Dubai of today. All right. I want to find the better pictures. This what kind of blog is this? It doesn't have good pictures. Let me find the better pictures to show you guys the Dubai, the old Dubai, and the current Dubai. It's very important. And if you do not know the history of Dubai, I want to encourage you guys to go and to read. Just read. All right. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you that to read. Go and read, because it's very important to learn, where we are today. For me, I have so much conviction that where we are today, we are not supposed to be where we are today. But why are we where we are today? These are questions that I ask myself every time when I travel. These are questions that I ask myself every single time. All right, I go somewhere. And I want us to learn from this case study, Dubai, today. All right. I want to find the good pictures to show you guys here. But anyways, let me just show you this one. Which one? This one. This is it's crazy. It's only within 40 years, man. It's only within 40 years this this country, I mean, this city of Dubai and this country has been transformed in a very incredible way. I want to show you this picture. So this is the history of Dubai. Basically, this is how it used to be. And this is just one city, right, in this country. This is the Dubai, how it used to be 40 years back. As you can see, you know, it's a place where, you know, basically it's, you know, that's how you see. This is how it is. This is how it used to be back in the days, right? But in 40 years, guys, I'm talking about 40 years. In 40 years, 40 years, this place has transformed to where it is here today, all right? Let me show you to where it is here today. And I'll have you guys over, you know, to share your thoughts, to share your ideas, to speak, you know, because it's very important to have, but let me just share this Wikipedia page. This is how it is today, right? This is how it is today, but you can see here pictures of before, and I know you guys have seen this picture everywhere, but this is how it is today. This is Dubai of today. This is how it is, right? This is the city. This is how it is today, but you have seen how it used to be before, you know, I've shown you. So one thing that I've learned, you know, when I was walking around, yeah, okay, I think this one is the better picture. This one, even this, it doesn't have really good quality, but this, it kind of shows like then and now, right? This is how it looks like. But one thing that I've learned and one thing that I want to share with you guys, you know, Dubai, it's basically, when you see Dubai, it's basically like artificial city. It's the city that have been created. In these 40 years, most of things that you see in Dubai have been created. All the buildings, even the greenish right now. I mean, when you go there and you go outside, you'll see greenish almost everywhere. And one thing that I found out, because there's not really like water, it's the dry land, it's a desert area. But one thing that I realized is that like below all this greenish that you see, there's a little bit of pillars of water. Like they're actually doing irrigation system everywhere, that you see like the land is like, it's completely green. Like the Dubai of today is greenish everywhere, but that's because deep, like under the ground, they have this little, how can I say, little taps of water that they're actually irrigating everywhere, you know, across the nation. Right. And then you can go to see, you know, all these, you know, crazy buildings that they build, you know, one of the tallest building in the world, you know, it's, you know, you can find it there. But not only that, one thing that it really, really inspired me, I had a time to visit the Future Museum, and I had a time to see one of the video that shows the Dubai of tomorrow, of 100 years, 200 years, 500 years later. And when I saw that video, I was astonished. I have that video, I had to record in my phone, but that video, I was astonished looking at this thing. And this is what the old leader said. And I want to share with you guys a little bit, because I posted it today, and I'd love to talk a little bit of that. This is what the old leader said. He said this, that the future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it. It isn't something you await, but rather you create. It isn't something you await, but rather you create. That basically, the future that you want, you have to create today. It's not something that you just imagine. It's not something that you feel about it. It's not something that you depend on it, or it's about something that you created today. If you want to have a different kind of future, then you begin to create it today. Our ancestors, they wanted to have free Africa, free out of colonialism, and they started to fight for it. And today we are here, we're free, but yet not free. And so what I'm wondering is our aggressiveness not high enough for us to bring the change that we need? Or are we even dreaming about Africa that in 50 years, in 100 years, in 200 years later, are we dreaming about that? Not only dreaming, are we working? Are we creating the future that we want for this continent in 50 and 60 years later? Are we creating that right now? 100 years, 200, even 1,000 years later? Or are we just living now and we do not care about the future. If I'm a leader, I'm just leading right now in 5 years that I have leading the government. I'm doing just that right now to leave my legacy, but I'm not thinking or considering about like when I'm gone, who is going to take it? What am I going to leave for the next leader? What am I going to leave for the next 10 leaders later? Are we building the stairs, or all of us, we start building new buildings? Like I'm building this building, another one is coming later, building another building, another one is building, and there's no consistency in our development. Are we aggressive enough to make that change, not for us, but also for the future generation? You have seen the image of Dubai 40 years ago, and you've seen the image of Dubai right now. But also right now, you can go on YouTube, just write it. If you go to the like Museum of the Future, you'll see everything. If you just type on YouTube, you'll be able to see these videos, how these people are dreaming about their country, about their city in 50, in 100 years. I've seen the video, 3D dimension, 3D cities. Man, it's crazy things. Like you're looking at this, I'm watching the fiction movies. It's like I'm looking at the fiction movies. I do not understand, like, man, how can this be reality? But you have people who are dreaming and are working hard to create that future. One thing that I realized, man, in Dubai, you can barely see people outside. You know what? Because it's too damn hot. It's too damn hot, and most of people, they're just inside all the time. It's too damn hard. People inside or inside the car or inside the buildings because they need to get fresh air. But look at Africa, man. Look at that continent. That continent has everything. That continent has rain. This continent has a good weather, beautiful weather. We have trees. We have everything. You don't need to do irrigation system actually down to just grow the grasses around the city. You don't need to do that because we have sometimes we have floods all the time. And yet even people are dying because of that. We don't even know how to create the good system, water channel system, that is not going to destroy the house of our people, that is not going to take the lives of our people. Like even the blessing, even the rain that some other countries that will wish to have that rain, but still they don't have, us, we still let that rain killing our people. Rain. How aggressive are we? How aggressive are we to bring change into this continent? And not only the change of today, the change of 5 years and 10 years, no, the everlasting change that later on when these youth of today, they take over the country, they'll take over the legacies that have been already implemented 50 years ago, 100 years ago, the vision of the continent, vision of the countries. Are we having that? Because, man, I realized this one thing. These people, man, they're aggressive. These people, man, are serious. These people, man, they give everything on the line to develop their countries. I lived in South Korea for 9 years. I have seen how aggressive this society is, how serious these people are. You know, it's very important to balance the equation. We can't just come here all the time and bashing on people and this and that. No, the fact we know that these people are aggressive. The fact that we know that these people are serious with bringing development, even if they have like a personal business, they're serious with that because they're doing for the country, they're doing for their people, they're doing for their generation, the generation to come, the later generation to come. But for us, we do for now. Like I'm doing it for now. If I'm building Soil Nation One Africa, I'm doing it just for me right now. And once it's gone, that is done. You know, there's no future plan. There's no plan for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. There's no plan for that. And so we find ourselves where we are today here. I'm telling you, man, there is no way out in this life to win if you're not aggressive. If you're not aggressive. And the aggressiveness that I'm talking about now, forget about the negative aggressiveness. I'm talking about the aggressiveness that you see the problem and you want to bring the change. You see the problem and then you become the change. I want to talk about the aggressiveness that, man, you work like as if you don't have tomorrow. I'm talking about the aggressiveness that you give everything on the line, man. The aggressiveness that, you know, sometimes you're going to need to let go of your bed because you need to get things done. That's the aggressiveness I'm talking about. The aggressiveness that you're worrying, you're concerned about the future, like where are my kids are going to live. The other day I said that the world We have seen how the world is treating our people. There will come a time these people will come back home, and I'm talking to them who are outside the country, outside of the continent. What are you doing to change the continent? Because you don't want to come back and see the same things that you're struggling abroad somewhere outside there. We need to prepare this continent for our future kids, because they're the ones that they're not going to need to go to the US. They're not going to need to go to the UK to study. They'll be there in the country. The US, the UK will come there to study. They'll be there to develop the continent. We're not going to forget where we are and where we're coming from. We're not going to forget that. Our people will come to save this continent. Our people will come and to bring change into this continent. Are we aggressive enough? And my evaluation is, guys, we are not aggressive enough. And maybe that's why the change is taking a long time. Dubai have done for 40 years. Since we received independence, some countries is 60 years. My country itself is 60-something years, and so many countries. And look at where we are. Look at where we are. Are we really doing the work we're supposed to do? Are we really taking advantage of the blessings that we have? Because time and chance happen to them all. So when I look at the city like Dubai, and when I look at a lot of countries, or let me just say the whole country, UAE, and when I look at a lot of countries back home in Africa and everywhere, when I look at it, man, I'm telling you, I see so much difference. I see, okay, if you have been to Dubai, you know. If anyone here has been to Dubai, you know. You know, you can agree with me that you can put it, the country there, and then look at how different it is. Look at how different it is. We have everything, man. We have everything. Time and chance happen to them all. Chance happened to us, but you're not taking advantage of that. We're not aggressive enough to take advantage of the chance. We're not aggressive enough to save the time, to keep the time, to use time properly, to make time our friend so that we may bring change in Africa. But others, they take advantage of the time and the chance, and look at where they are at. You know, I was telling my friend, and I was saying that, you know, and sometimes I understand why other people, they're looking down on Africa. Sometimes I do understand, you know, because even myself, when I think about this and when I look at my continent, I cry for it. I cry for Africa, man. Because, man, we say this all the time. How many things do we have in Africa? It does not make sense that we are still struggling economically. We're still struggling we don't even have good infrastructure. The roads are messed up. We don't have that. We don't even have electric trains in Africa. And we have charcoal. We have everything that we need. We're struggling with everything. Every single day, there's accidents happening because the roads are messed up. Crazy roads. So every single day, it's just accident, accident, accident. And we have everything. Guys, we have everything. Man, when you move around and you see the countries that don't have anything, I'm taking an example again, South Korea. South Korea, those guys, they don't even have minerals. North Korea, they do have. In South, they don't have. But look at that country, man. Look at that country. Look at Dubai. Look at it in 40 years, man. 40 years. What Africa are we doing? What are we doing in Africa? What are we doing? I don't even need somebody else to look down on me, but even myself, man, I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at Africa, and I'm like, man, really? Like it doesn't make sense. Like Maltonde, it does not make sense. Why we're not doing the work we're supposed to do? Why we're not giving enough? Why we're not work hard enough to bring that change? If they're leaders, man, whatever work you're doing, you're not doing it enough. You can't just sit there expecting us to clap for you for what you're supposed to do. No, you're not doing it enough. You're not doing it enough. It's not enough in Africa. The work that has been done in the continent, it's not enough. Yes, there's improvement happening slightly, little by little, but it's not enough. We're not doing it enough. We're not aggressive enough to bring that change. When are we going to get this aggressiveness to bring the change in the continent? When are we going to get this aggressiveness to just be the change that Africa needs? When are we going to do that? When are we going to do our damn job to bring the change in the continent, to save people's lives, to work on our infrastructure, to make sure that nobody else is dying because of car accidents, to work on that, to work on the systems like that, railway systems, to work on the airline systems, to work on the road system, ship system, to increase the trade between one country and another country, to build even the railway across the whole continent of Africa. We're not working hard enough. We're not aggressive enough to bring the change. We're not aggressive enough. I'm telling you, look at Dubai 40 years ago and right now. Look at it. Let me show this picture here again. Let me show this picture. Man, this country, it's hot. You cannot be outside. You cannot go outside. You cannot. If you're outside, you'll be inside the car and inside the building. This is 40 years ago, and this is right now. And this is just one part, but there's so many, beautiful pictures that I'm just taking this one picture from the online here. But maybe I should find a video here. Let me find a video to show you guys. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, I want to show you the video, guys, to see. All right? I want to show you the video for you guys to see. Let me show you guys the video to see, to understand what I'm trying to talk about. Because, man, this is crazy. This doesn't make sense. All right? This is something that we, like, it's, man, like, no, man, no. We must learn. We must wake up. We must grow. We cannot just blame people again and again and again. No, we must learn. We must grow. We must wake up. We need to do that. All right, we need to do that. We need to do that. And I'm telling you guys, I just wanna encourage you guys. If you don't know the history of Dubai, I just want you guys just go and learn. Go and learn, go and study. Just do that. Go and learn, go and study, just do that. It's basically artificial city. But look at Africa, man. If it's ocean, we have ocean. If it's islands, we have islands. If it's rain, we have rain. If it's like the weather, we have good weather. Like, we have everything. And yet, we're stuck where we are. Too much blessing, it's cursed sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Too much blessings and you don't know how to use it, it's cursed. Why we're not aggressive enough? Why we're not doing that? Okay, you have your company, you're working for your company, you need to be aggressive enough. We're working for Soil Nation One Africa here, and you see how aggressive we are. Because we want to lead, we want to show by example that this is how we need to operate. You're working in the government sector, I always talk to these people, you're working, you're doing a good job. Maybe the salary is not enough, but at least you got a job to work, all right? Do your work properly. Do that work properly to bring the change in the continent. Man, that's why you find, man, there's so many foreigners in Africa doing amazing work. You know what? You can't even blame when they come and they take your money away because they're doing the damn work. All the roads, look at how Chinese are building the roads. Day and night. And we are under huge debt because you don't do our work. If you don't do your work, somebody else will come and take your money and do your work for you. And you're going to need to pay him. Well, you have everything. That's why we constantly just bring some people. You will see, like, if it's a deal to build the road, we would rather give to some foreigner to build than our own people. Why? Because we know ourselves that, no, they're not gonna be good work. No, if this guy, like, there's not even trust among each other. There's not even trust among us. Because we ain't aggressive enough. We don't take things serious and we don't work hard enough to see the change. If there are people who are working that hard enough, they're few. Majority of people, they don't do so. So evaluate yourself as you're listening to this stream. Evaluate yourself today and tell me. Tell me if I am wrong. Tell me if you work hard enough, that's good for you. But tell me if what you do, it's hard enough. If you are aggressive enough. I'm sharing the link in the comment section because this is not the topic for only me to talk or to share. So if you want to come and contribute to the topic, please come and contribute. In the meantime, I'll be reading the comments, and I want to remind you guys the link is in the comment section to raise the money for the Soil Nation One Africa office. Please help us to do so. We wanna we wanna spread this spirit and work as hard as we can to bring the change in the continent. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the link right here. You can contribute for the establishment of Soil Nation One Africa offices. You can contribute whatever you have. The link is in the comment section. All right. And also another link is for you guys to join and to come to contribute yourself. Why we are not doing enough? Why we are not aggressive enough? Listen to this quote. This is basically the founder of Dubai. He said, the future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it. It isn't something you await, but rather create. Why we're not creating? Even if we are creating, it's not enough. It's very little. Today in Africa, I always say this, today in Africa, people are dying because of hunger. There's a projection about Somalia that, you know, they will have a hard drought in the next year. Crazy drought, it will happen. What are we preparing right now to save our people in Somalia? When that drought comes, so that no one will die with hunger. But today in Africa, people are still dying with hunger. Look at Dubai, guys. Look at this city. Go to Dubai. You cannot even go outside because it's so hot. But this country has been, man, this city has been built. People, they innovate. People, they create. Now they have the Museum of the Future. If you go there and you see, I didn't get a chance. I mean, I went there and I just end up to be in the, you know, because people, they book like a while. So if you want to go there, you have to book as early as you can. Like you have to book like maybe 2 or 3 months before you get there. You have to do that so that you may go and see and learn. Man, this is Museum of the Future. And even the shape of that museum, it has the shape of an eye and some Arabic words right there. But this is the Museum of the Future of 50, 100, 1,000 years ago. Let me read another quote. Let me read another quote that their leader said, all right? These are things that, man, these are not just quote. Like, you know, the reason why this quote is really strong, it's because it's not just a quote that a leader say, but it's a work that people have done. You understand? It's a work that people have done. It's not just quotes that people say. Look at this, say this. We may not live for hundreds of years, but the products of our creativity leave a legacy long after we are gone. Do you see that? Do you see what he's thinking? We may not live for hundreds of years, not just 100 years, hundreds of years, but the product of our creativity, this work, leave a legacy long after we are gone. Do you see that mindset? That was said by this guy, his name is Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. He said that we may not live for hundreds of years, but the product of our creativity leave a legacy long after we are gone. What kind of legacy are we creating for Africa? Are we creating a legacy that dies with us when we're dying? That gone with us once we're out of the country? That gone with us like that after we're done? Is that kind of legacy that we are living with? Is that kind of legacy that we are holding, we are hanging on to? It's, you know, it's sad. It's sad if we have people who think that way. It's really sad. It's really sad because, like I'm telling him this, man, I don't need to work for myself because I'm not going to live forever. I'm working for my people. I'm working for my generation. I'm working for my future kids because they will come after me. And their life, it's going to highly depend on how I'm living today. I always say this. Neo, he says, brother, education destroys the mind. Education is programming, brother, like a computer, a system. They want all of us to have in our minds. They want us to be standard like Coca-Cola, same everywhere. Neo, let me say this. When we're talking about education, like, we're not talking about the education that you are saying you are talking about. Learning is actually looking at someone who is doing better and learn from them why they are succeeding and why I am not. What did they do to be where they are? And what can we do to be somewhere else that we are supposed to be. There's always a good side, there's always a negative side. Negative side, you learn too from them so that you may not repeat the same mistake. Positive side, you take it because there's always good side and bad sides. So the education that you're talking about, we don't have to learn their education. We can learn our education. Education of understanding, education of innovation, education of creating, not education that limit people to think. I studied in South Korea in their education, but this is how I think. So this, it depends on how you receive it. I have somebody on the line and I want to put Wallace Kananda. Hey, what's up, Wallace Kananda?
Hi, Mika. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good. By the way, it's pronounced as Wallace. Like
Wallace.
Yeah. Anyway, fine. I agree with your points today.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things for Africa is that we are yet to learn the power of cooperation. If you find any of these great nations, first of all, they value their identity. The Chinese love their identity. The Japanese love their identity. Africans are trying to be like Westerners. So first, we have an identity crisis. We also have an integrity crisis because now we have leaders who usually are out to line their own pockets and not really be of service to the people. And some of these leaders actually even corrupt things that we do as nations because if they're getting kickbacks, for example, to do our infrastructure, when they get kickbacks, it means the quality of what is going to be built must be lowered to allow for the bribe that some of these leaders of ours insist that they must get from these contractors. But in reality, if we use our unity well, we need to remember as we keep talking of one Africa, that these borders were drawn by colonialists. We did not have the borders. And that while those borders now help define our different countries, we are still one nation, we are still one people, we are still one Africa. So if we can bring in cooperation into play, cooperation is what gives Arabian countries strength. Because remember, for example, when like Dubai, you might find is part of what they call the United Arab Emirates. They're using unity as their strength. And for Africa, we are still working on our unity, like we have our East Africa region. But you'll always find sometimes there's still some sort of competition. You find Kenya and Tanzania are competing, Tanzania and Uganda are competing. We are still yet to learn that the real power comes when we start working united. The power of the United States of America is the unity of different states, the fact that it's a melting pot of many races, many tribes, many different kinds of people. That cooperation and that unity and that synergy is what we need as Africa to propel us to the next level. And that means also we need to realize as Africa what is true servant leadership, because as of right now, most Africans think leadership is who is the loudest person in our community, who makes the. But the reality in life, being a noisemaker doesn't mean you're a visionary. Okay, the Dubai we are admiring right now, it was because of the vision of the king then and the princess then, who said that we have a vision that this thing is a desert now, but in so many years it can be something grander. And then they committed to it with integrity. If you don't have integrity, how can you build without integrity? Yeah, we can't build Africa if we are not committed to it, if we are not loyal to it, if we are still seeing each other as different peoples because of the borders that we did not draw them. We did not draw those borders. We did not. That's why you find there are Maasais in Kenya and Uganda. You find there are tribes that are split between 2 or 3 countries. Because we did not draw those borders. But for the sake of organization, maybe we work as states at the moment, but we need to work and start plugging in and connecting as one people, where we are not, instead of competing, we complement one another. But for now, this competition we think we have, the world is leaving us behind while we are busy competing with each other. And as you're saying, we have all the raw materials in Africa. The mobile phones are made from ores that come from DRC, from Congo. You know, the West has set it up in such a way that we are used to exporting raw materials, and then we import finished products. And those kind of things need to change, because right now you can imagine how cheaply, let's say, Ghana exports its cocoa for, but when they buy back chocolates from the UK, they're expensive. The value addition changes the costing of the product that you thought you had grown in your farm. So the idea is for Africa to change. Number one, let's first of all start cooperating together. Let's stop looking at each other as competitors but complementers. And then one of the great things that happened, I believe you should know that the African Union decided even Swahili is meant to be an official language for Africa. Let's look for something to meld us together, to join us together, so that we are able to communicate. Wherever you travel in Africa, you'll be able to communicate, you'll be able to settle, you'll be able to do business, and that's the best way forward. But for now, we are suffering because number one, as people, we don't know what true servant leaders are. Our politics are still too tribalistic. It's about, maybe Tanzania is a bit ahead of Kenya on that. I'm in Kenya. I think you know about how Kenyan elections go. But that kind of, you're just electing somebody because they have the same surname. You are guaranteed to pick just noisemakers, because only the rowdiest, most crafty people will end up coming out to the top, instead of going out and saying, we want visionaries. What is your vision? You want to be the councillor? You want to be the member of parliament? You want to be the president? What's your vision for our country? What's your vision for our ward if it's a councillor, you know? But for now, Africa is doing its leadership wrong. I think I posted just a few minutes ago. John C. Maxwell says, I've thought about leadership for almost 20 years, but he says everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership helped make Dubai. Leadership is what's disappointing Africa. And it's because the citizenry, when they go to vote, they are not thinking, they take bribes, they vote their tribesman. And we keep telling people, if you take a bribe and a guy has to spend $1 million to get into office, when he gets into office, he doesn't want, he has to recoup his investment. He's not going to be there to work. He cannot bribe you as a constituent and then work for you. That doesn't add up. But if we have elections like in America, where it is the people who actually fundraise for people to run for office, like we remember for Obama, the Organizing for America, people giving $2, $3 so that he can run a campaign. If we change that system of how we do our elections, how we do our politics in Africa, that's going to transform us in a very radical way. But as long as it's the same old, who has bribed the most, people who, if people know you're running for office, all your tribesmen by force and by default must vote for you, whether you have a vision or not. That's not the way we should keep electing and selecting leaders in Africa. That is our biggest weakness. We have leaders who are just there for themselves because they spend so much to bribe us to get into office. So I think those are some of the things I feel strongly. Leadership, and again, remember, young people are the great potential for leadership today and in the future. And then cooperation, that we stop being jealous, stop being afraid of each other. The power of the West and is usually defined in unity, that they do. The European Union was there before we started thinking of, can we do our African Union, that kind of stuff. Unity, there is power in unity, and there's power in diversity. So I think that's where I feel strongly Africa can be transformed. Let's get better leaders. Let's become better citizens. Better. Remember, we are all Africans. Before you're a Kenyan, Before you're a Tanzanian, before you're a Ugandan, Ghanaian, Cameroonian, whatever, you're an African. Okay. When you remove the borders, you're just first an African. You're a human being. You need to realize we are equal to to Chinese, to Japanese. I think if you've ever noticed, African students, when they go abroad, they do very well in academics. I think I posted that as well. Yes. You get put onto scholarship so that your mind, as we call it, the brain drain, your mind can be kept on that side. But the idea is we are no less intelligent. You'll find Africans in NASA. You'll find Africans in any computer company you go to in the States. But the thing is, do we have leaders here who are able to be visionary enough to say, Africa should not wear second-hand clothes? It's disrespectful. We are disrespecting ourselves, and we are demeaning ourselves to others because they wear clothes, they want to throw them away. Africa wants to buy. That is ridiculous. And we grow cotton. What don't we grow here? Making material is not rocket science. Yeah, it's not making a computer making material that you can wear. Human beings were making clothes thousands of years ago. So Africa we can make our own clothes. Not everything has to come from China. So leadership is what is boiling down to. If we don't have visionary leaders, we have just people who they're content with being in office, being called president, MP, having a big title, a big office, a big car. Will not go anywhere. But if we change the narrative, if we first change the people, because change does not start with the top where the status quo is. When somebody is benefiting from being in public office, they will not change anything. But if we can change as the people, then we have hope for Africa. I know I've spoken a lot, but I'm waiting to see if anybody else is hopping in. But those are my, yeah.
Kananda, it is necessary. Everything you shared, I'm just gonna mute this for a second so that I may not have the background. It was necessary. You pointed out so many things, and I just wish people that were listening. But before I jump into that, I want to read one comment here. Dolores Gupton, she's saying that, let me read this first comment right here. Say the leaders are afraid of a real economic collapse called sanctions. Young people pull together, move as one, unity, vote as one, look from within Africa for every need, citizen hold leaders accountable. Citizen hold leaders accountable. I think that's a very strong statement and strong point that our sister here shared. And one thing, I think the first thing that you said, it's totally right. That I think we are worrying about that. And I always say this, that the reason why we're worrying about that is because we're not united. Because if we are united and you say that you can put sanction on me, but put on all African countries together, we come together with one voice, nobody's going to put sanction on any country in Africa. No one. These days, they can put sanction on this country, on Mali, on that, because we are divided. And so we're weak. If they put sanction on one person, he cannot do anything and nobody can stand with them. In fact, other African countries, they back those sanctions and put sanction on them as well. We saw what happened to Mali, right? So what do you expect when we are so divided? We are not one, we're not united, and this is what we get. And not only that, another thing, I'm glad, because we always talk about, EU, we talk about USA, like these are United States, and EU, these are united countries together, but also UAE. You pointed out, Kananda, very good point about UAE, that this is United Arabs. And that's the reason why they're strong. And that's the reason why they have a say. That's the reason why they do what they do. Yes, there's a lot of countries that are struggling. There's a lot of countries struggling, but in this case, specifically today, you're talking about Dubai. Like, what can we learn from what that is happening? And how can we bring that back to the continent? And I love the fact that at the end of your sentence, you said, citizen, hold leaders accountable. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're talking about this, because that's very important. Because people who are calling shots at the end of the day, people who are making decisions in those rooms are our leaders. But we need to play our part as citizens. We need to do our job. We need to step outside. We need to be aggressive enough to demand change. We need to be aggressive enough to make that change, to be the change that Africa needs. If we do our part, and if we're that aggressive enough, I'm telling you, leaders, they will know, they will have no choice but to do their jobs as well. But we have this tendency of laziness. We have this tendency of believing that everything will happen miraculously without putting effort into what we are doing. If we have people are putting effort, yes, we have people are putting effort, but it's very few, it's very little that cannot bring any impact to the continent. And also the fact that we are so divided. That's another thing. Kananda, I wanna let you go for a second, but I wanna bring somebody else is right here to talk, and I'll bring you back later to kind of have conversation. All of us. I wanna bring AG. I have AG here.
That's fine. That's
Don't
fine.
yeah, don't leave. I'll just leave you here in the background, and I'll bring you back
Okay.
very soon.
No problem.
All right, I have AG here. AG, what's up? Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
what's up, Micah? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to hear you. Where are you calling from, brother?
Well, right now I'm in Africa. I'm in Ethiopia.
All right, I appreciate.
Sure,
What
sure.
is your contribution? Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. It was a wonderful one,
Mm.
wonderful. And I saw your clip on that. It was wonderful too. So yeah, thank you,
Appreciate,
thank you.
man. You guys are my family, so I had to say something.
We are family, that's for sure. We are
Yeah.
all families. And yeah, so it's such an interesting topic you raised.
Mm.
Kind of touched the very core of the problem,
Mm.
and actually the main problem that seems to
Yeah.
have no solution,
Mm.
and there's no like clear cut answer to it. But I mean, I have just some ideas and just
Yeah.
as far as what it is. But
Love that.
I think, and I forgot, I didn't catch his name, the gentleman that was speaking earlier. He brushed up
Mm.
on it, and he said it himself. So these uh, nationality based upon the countries like we have. So let's say, so these nations are basically given to us, the borders and all that,
Mm.
are basically, so that's the problem. And when heads, like when a leader says, oh, I'm doing this in the interest of my country, or and then does something that opposes the ideals and views of the rest of Africans, well, that can never be true, right? So in essence, in a true essence, it's a lie, or they're misled, or they're just using that as some sort of bait. But the truth is, think about it: the interest of a Kenyan can never be in opposition to the interest of a Ugandan or anyone living in that area, Ethiopian or Somalian or wheresoever. That's the reality. So the development, growth, these are the basic things that those people need. And actually, if had things been divided as such, then there wouldn't be no reason why these leaders be dealing directly with all these Europeans and all sorts of things, and then say, "Oh, I'm doing this for my country," and then it's going to hurt the rest of Africans. So, what if I know this sounds idealistic, but think about it: if one of the like during elections say, oh, I want to do this for my people, this and that, but what are you planning to do? What's your roadmap to better Africans? That should be the main point of winning the hearts of any nation. So if people are really aware of this fact, then it would be easier to kind of actually distinguish between those that have intentions of, hurting and bullying their own people, the rest of Africans, because you know that they're playing the old games. That's the script written by the masters. So that's the things. But if if a leader prioritizes the interest of all Africans, trust me, they are doing so much great things for their own country, because they can never be in a position because these borders are not real. Because the people are real. People living on these lands are real, not the borders, because you can't see it on if you take a photo from the satellite or whatever, look up Google map, you can only see Africa. You don't see this vision. So the politics as well should come to where it's sensible to be realistic in that. So that push has to, where it should come, maybe from the AU or from all the activists, and it could come from anywhere, but that idea should be set forth as the main priority for someone to come to power. Of course, they're going to say they'll do that and they won't do it, but if they don't do it, then, oh, okay, you didn't do it, so you were not playing the game. So that is the one idea I have. So basically, to integrate the idea of unified Africa into the realm of each nation and nationalities among the African continent. So that's my take on it.
I appreciate AG. I wanna bring on Mr. Kananda. Thank you so much, AG, for such a wonderful contribution. Kananda, if you want to respond to that, because I believe AG was actually addressing to one of the things that you shared as well. You can go ahead. Mr. Kananda?
Sorry, I'd stepped aside just very briefly. I don't know which dimension was he addressing, so that I missed his comment.
Yeah,
I went to get a cup of tea.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries. AG, you can summarize if there's anything that you wanna Kananda to get back to you.
Oh, so yeah. So just to summarize it, so just looking at things from the heads of state level or from that level, the fact that a leader does things saying based upon the interest of its own nation and does things that will not serve the rest of Africans, then that's a lie, because the interest of an African nation can never be or can never come in opposition to the rest of Africans, because that's the reality of life on the ground. Like you mentioned, people in that one tribe in Kenya, the Maasai tribe, are split among different nations. So when that means they're governed by three different leaders, right? So if these three different leaders have different goals and agendas, then they definitely would make these same people, not walk together. So basically, my idea is to kind of install or invoke the idea that the priority of each leader, heads of state, whatever you call them, should be to prioritize ideas that would benefit all Africans. So, because in reverse, it would also they would also do great in their country as well as Africans. So, being able to make that as the main focus of how they should get on power. Not saying I'll do this and this and that for my country, but also what is your plan for unified Africa? What are you want to do for that? Because that should be the true measure of what one is willing to do in terms of setting goals, agendas, and development for the entire continent. So I don't know if that's very clear. If not, I'm willing to elaborate it further.
Yes. I've understood you better. Yeah, actually, yes. When it comes to leadership, and they say, actually, the gentleman called John Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. But we need to remember there can also be something called a bad influence. So a good leader is a leader who has good influence. and they are a servant leader. They're actually leaders who are in positions of authority, but the things they make their people do, the direction they take. Like, let's say, for example, would say Hitler had influence. Many people followed him, but they followed him into a world war. So I agree with you. There's something about leadership that is very important, and that dimension is the character of the leader, because one of the mistakes we make as Africans is we look for charisma first. Charisma meaning this person is very well spoken, this person is very loud, he's very aggressive. Sometimes we think activists are leaders, and being an activist is essential. It's an essential part of society, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're a leader. It just means you're good at vocalizing particular things. But character now is what it boils down to, because look at the character I would think of somebody like a Gandhi or a Mandela. Let me keep it African, okay? The character of the leader is what ends up proving itself in the kind of nation that he forges. Like one of the leaders we respect was the late president of Tanzania, Nyerere. I mean, that while some, like in Kenya, we kept our tribal divides. In Tanzania, people were made to look at each other as one community. And that thing of tribalism really didn't take root as it did in Kenya. And we have paid a heavy price for having that kind of division. But you see, that division was facilitated by leaders. Because what happened is a lot of leaders realized the easiest way to manipulate the masses is to hold on the colonial system of divide and rule. So as long as you're keeping people divided along ethnic lines, you are able to manipulate them. You're able to take advantage of them. But in reality,
mic tested.
I don't know whose mic is. The mic is on, John, I think. But the idea is, so we make the mistake of just being moved by charisma, and we lack to do some character test on the leaders that we elect. We fail to ask how have they been with their family, how have they been in their community, how have they been, what is their background, like for example, what made Obama great was he used to even to be a community mobilizer long before he ran for president. He was doing things for the community when he had no position. But for campaign promises. So leadership has to boil down to the character of the leader, who they've been on a personal level, who they've been in their community, how they've been with their family. And then from such people, you expect to now listen to their vision and their ideas on how they want to move your community forward. That's what leadership is supposed to be about. But when we make it about charisma and we make it about their surname, or we make it about their faith, he's a Christian like me, or he's a Muslim like me, I cannot vote for a Christian, I cannot vote. We are missing it. Faith makes a good part of any human being if they can live with particular values. But you don't have to compel a leader to have come from your faith. Gandhi was a great leader. He was not a Christian. He was not a Muslim. He was, I believe, a Hindu. So ideally, there's something that if we can upgrade and demand, or at least check the character of the leaders that we put into our public office in African countries, we will see a very big difference in our nations. But for now, I think what I saw somebody write, that let's mobilize the young people of Africa to be the leaders of today, beginning not being in office, but doing things for society as a united group, where you do things for society. The day you say, give me a responsibility when I'm in office, if I can do this with my own little means, how about if I have more resources at my disposal? Okay. Yeah.
Kananda, I appreciate that so much. We have two guests as well. We have my brother John here from Nigeria, And also I have, I don't know if I can say my sister here, Dolores G, area you were commenting in the comment section here. I appreciate for joining us. Let me give an opportunity first for my sister Dolores G here, because we have had already. It's good to balance a little bit. So John, you go next. Dolores G, do you mind to share your thoughts as well? Welcome to the family, by the way. Hello? You're going to have to unmute yourself because you're muted. Oh, I think she's struggling with internet. John, you can go first, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Bika. Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. It's good to see you, brother.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so good to be here with the wonderful family Swahili Nation. I greet everyone on the panel. Good work, Mika Shavala. I pray that God continues to strengthen you. Don't give up. Keep doing what you know how to do best.
Thank you.
Help is coming on the way. Help is coming, definitely. All right. So let me quickly speak on that. First of all, I'd like to commend the previous speaker. I think you spoke very well. But what I would say is that there's something I would like to say before we move on to the next before I give my own opinion. You see, tribe and religion is going to make up is going to continue to play a major role in Africa moving forward. Is very critical, because if you look at the way Africa was formed, it was formed by merging various ethnicities together. In Nigeria, we're over 250 ethnicities, so it's going to be very, very important in deciding who leads, because if you have the wrong people, they can you know they can start thinking of how to dominate the others. One thing about Africa is that Africans have not really evolved, and let's look at us. We are still very new. Nigeria, just came out, just get an independence in the 1960. We had civil war till 1999, till we got a fourth republic. So what I see is that Africans are still evolving. Africa are still evolving, at least for these old present leaders, this old set of leaders. Their mind are still reprobate, like the Bible says. So they are still very dead at heart. So I think let's just give them a walkover. Let's see what the next our own generation will do. All right. So with that being said, why is Africa not being developed? I'll give you two reasons. Number one, we Africans are the cause of we ourselves are the cause of our underdevelopment. Um, choosing tribe over competence, choosing religion over competence, like the previous speaker said. I think Wallace said it. Yes, we are the one. Number two is that the second part is that we don't see is that Africa was just given political power, not economic power. And in the last topic, I was talking with Mika about geopolitics. We're talking about the BRICS. You see, this current Western design of, because right now, the world order is being controlled by the West, by the US and Europe. This current world order did not include Africa in it. Africa was not in their plan. The US, their plan was basically number one, to contain Russia and control East Asia. You can see that is where all the factories are. Vietnam, look at how do I put it? Asia, China, and then those Japan. They went there, they picked their allies from that place, and and they work with those ones more. And the Middle East also. The reason why they even call the Middle East the Arabs was because of the petrodollar. That's why they made them rich. So basically, if looking at the state of geopolitics in the world, Africa is designed to be poor. In fact, we even tried as we are. Africa is worth about $3 trillion, because in the 1999 there was this magazine that said Africa is a hopeless continent. We are surpassing expectation. Africans we are now. We are doing so well. The West did not expect us to come this far. we are trying, and I think it's because of technology, internet, and things like that. But what we have built so far is not really on the solid ground because we've not really built our own structure. Patrice Lumumba, sorry, Professor Lumumba of Kenya, he says that what Africa is currently enjoying is just a hype. Our Uber is American. Bolt is from Estonia. Google search is from America. Facebook is from the USA. So we've not really built even the internet we use is not really our own. So these guys can literally come and plug us out at any time. Even the YouTube we are using now is not ours. I'm still thinking for a time whereby we have our own platform, because if you look at YouTube, because Mika was complaining of being shadow banned, of being how do I put it, of being controlled. Yes, it will happen because this YouTube and these platforms are designed for the West. Is their platform. The white people don't really see Africa as a significant region. They don't see it. So geopolitically, Africa is not really relevant in their plan. Even if you look at the US Senate, they say Africa does not matter. They will tell you. The reason why they're even giving Africa a second glance is because the Chinese are making advances to the continent. So the Chinese wants to deploy influence from Africa. That is why you see them, all of them, they Africa, hey, you're into Africa. They're trying to build a media propaganda about China and to convince Africans against China, because they know that if once the Chinese come, they are going to build influence, and the Chinese are not going to leave you poor. They are going to offload most of what they have, because they're looking for a second market. They have the American market, they have the European market, and they want the African market so they can build their own trade routes in Africa. So, two reasons why Africans are poor. Number one, we ourselves, and number two, geopolitically. Now, just take let's I don't really want to talk about geopolitics. We can't talk about geopolitics if we've not put our house in order, like Mika said in our last meeting. Shavala, you said that those who build for you owns you. Please, Mark, can you please mute your mic? You're really disturbing, Miss Lawrence. Okay, or Mika, mute. Okay, yeah. So Mika, you said something. You said something in our last meeting. You said, and it really struck me. You said those who build for you controls you, and it's very right. So we're talking about the influence of China and Brazil and those countries in Africa. So the fact that they are building for us means that we're not really free on our own. Then, and I came up with something like, Africans need to get together. Number one, we are 54 countries. If you combine Europe, America, and Australia, they're not up to 54. So what is stopping us from industrializing, launching our own currency, and begin to trade with each other, so we don't depend on the dollar and the pounds? I heard that the African Union, relies on NATO foreign military to help in peacekeeping. Today in Congo, I was watching something on Weon. Weon is an Indian media, and she showed the camp in Congo where those Africa, those troops, is it from those guys that wear blue, those army in the, is it African Union, or what they call, is it World Union? They're in Congo anyway. How they sleep with 11-year-old girls and get them pregnant, those white men that come to Africa for peacekeeping. So no, it's not AMISOM, UN, sorry, United Nations troops in Africa. So how they've been committing atrocities in Congo and other part of Africa where there's conflict. So it shows that Africa really needs to we need to get ourselves together. We need to work hand in hand. We're 54 countries. The reason why the Chinese want Africa, America wants Africa, because in fact, we ourselves, we can be self-sufficient. Today, if we launch our own currency, back it by trade, like the US dollar, right, our currency is going to be more powerful than the US dollar. And number one, it's going to retain talent in Africa, because those people that are running to America to earn dollars, they can stay here and earn something that is equivalent to the US dollar. It's going to speed off our level of industrialization. And you were saying that if we industrialize, what are we going to sell to each other? Let me tell you, Nigeria as a country, last year, we imported egg worth $4 billion. Do you believe that Nigeria imports egg? We import egg in Nigeria. So because we are too much, the local consumption has taken too much. Nigeria imports meat. Nigeria imports sugar. So if we had Congo, if Congo was stabilized, if Ethiopia was stabilized, we would have bought from Congo or bought from Ethiopia. So one thing about the economy is that nobody is self-sufficient. We always need one or two people, to support. So that's why we have to come together. We have to put our heads together. These African leaders, I don't really like them. They seem to understand the problem. Like I was listening to Museveni of Uganda. He spoke. The man is very, very intelligent, but they don't have the willpower. You see, do I call it willpower, or they don't really understand where to begin from? I think that's where their problem is coming from. And it shouldn't be so hard for them, because Africa already, we were powerful during the agrarian time. What the issue we had, where we had problem was that we were not we were stopped at the level of, we're not industrialized before the Europeans left, and they probably did it that way because they didn't want you to control your own your raw materials. So if we can get the continent industrialized, at least where we manufacture our own goods by ourselves, then we begin to trade with ourselves. I think within a short period of time, Africa will be there. And notwithstanding, it will not go down. It won't go down without a fight, because these Western countries, they don't want you like that, like what they did to Gaddafi. So, but there will have to be a fight, and with that being said, just to put it all, two reasons, why Africa are not developed like this. Number one, Africans themselves cause it, and number two, it's a foreign influence. So I think I'll be able to make sense. I'll let the next speaker. I think I'm done for now. Allow the next speaker to go on. Thank you. Yeah, okay, Shavala.
I appreciate, John. I appreciate. Thank you so much for your contribution. That means a lot. We have here Delores G. Hey, it's good to see you, brother. Do you mind to go ahead and to share? It's good to see you. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Thank you so much. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes. You're cutting little bit. Yes, I can hear you now clearly.
Just a little bit more volume.
Yeah, that's what was happening earlier. It was cutting out.
I'm glad it's good now.
So, okay. Well, you were posing the question, if Africans are good enough to make change, right?
What? My question.
I want to see me this time.
Can you hear me?
It's good to see you guys. Come on, man. You guys are looking good. It's good to see you. I can hear you, but you keep cutting little by little, so it's kind of hard to hear you consistent. But the question that I'm asking is, why Africans, we are not aggressive enough to bring the change that Africa needs, or the change that we want to see. Why we are not aggressive enough? Like, she's having her time.
She's off again.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I wanted to say something before she comes back.
Yes, Canada. It's good to see you, man. Put yourself back there.
Yeah.
Come on, brother.
So good to see you, John. So ideally, what I was saying is, John commented on tribe and faith, and ideally, when we speak of it, there's a positive dimension to tribe and faith. You're supposed to value who you are. As I've just said, the great nations value their identity and their traditions. Chinese still wear the Chinese traditional clothes, or the Japanese. It's not something they've let go of. Sometimes Africans, we have made the mistake of over-Westernizing giving up our old values and our not everything about Africa was backward or outdated. We should have filtered what it is we received from the West without throwing away what was best about ourselves. So ideally, there's a positive dimension of tribe, but it becomes negative only when it takes on what we call tribalism in a negative dimension. In Swahili, it's called ukabila. I'm sure Shavala knows the difference. So there's kabila, which is your tribe. Ukabila is like the chauvinistic dimension to it, where I dislike you or have an issue with you because of where you hail from. And when leadership is driven by that dimension, it can you can end up not having the best leaders. Just like in the Rwanda genocide, remember it was one tribe against the other. There are only two tribes in Rwanda, and yet there was a genocide of over 1 million people. So the idea is, if tribe is given the wrong twist, it becomes very dangerous. Likewise with faith, you can have countries where people are coexisting at peace, but there are countries where Christians supposedly and Muslims must keep fighting. You must keep attacking each other, or even in Muslim countries where you have Sunnis always attacking Shias and vice versa. So it's an element of saying, if we hold on to tribe and religion, it is from the positive, constructive dimension, not from the thing where I must put my tribesman. I don't trust any other person from any other community. And if Nigeria has over 250, whoa, those are a lot of, that's pretty cool. And so I think that's the dimension that I wanted to discuss from that, and I agree with him also that as long as the West thinks that China is wooing Africa, that's when they've regained interest. They used to be confident that we depended on the IMF, so we'd always come crawling to them. The only caution we have with China is China also is seeking to enslave us with debt if we are not careful. And that's why I'm saying it's very dangerous to have leaders who take bribes. Like in Kenya, we had a railway installed that is very outdated, but it was so expensive. It was like 4 or 5 times more expensive than
over $50 billion in debt. Kenya is the most indebted African country. Most indebted, yes.
So, and it's because these leaders, those debts, they get kickbacks. Those deals, they get kickbacks. Everything is overinflated. Because the leader knows his company will get to do some of the work, some of the tenders, and sometimes even they don't deliver anything. In Kenya, it's extremely radical, where you can write an invoice and a delivery note, deliver nothing and get paid because you have godfathers in the government. So that's why I'm saying it's extremely detrimental. Kenya has suffered from that thing of when you put a government on the basis of tribe, nepotism is practiced. The ministers are maybe from the communities that, and when you are put there because you are related to the big shots, do you have to deliver any services to citizens? You don't. They can't fire you. If they go to complain, it's your godfather. So that's the heavy price we pay as Africa when we choose the wrong qualities or the wrong things to look at in our leaders. And as we are saying right now, it's time for young people or for us to say, okay, how do we now mobilize and actualize the equipping of young people, young Africans in leadership? What is leadership? Leadership characteristics, how to maybe form community groups, even if you would have them as Swahili nation groups in their countries, that kind of dimension. But people need to know, if you know what you can only know what is real when you see the original. You know what I mean? When you see real leaders, the Mandelas, the Obamas, if until you have something original to compare it with, most people in our rural areas just think the leader is, we send our son to university, he should be the leader in our area. Education is important, but does it guarantee you have a vision? Yeah. No. Yeah. So that's my thought, that faith and tribe is important if it is left in the positive space where it adds character to the leader, it adds character to the country. I was hoping our sister would hop back in.
But you guys, I have a question for you guys. You guys, you look rich, by the way. You know, In Africa, when you have bold, like like you two in glasses,
Maybe age.
you look smart and rich. And I look like a cunning man.
It's God's wisdom. It's God's wisdom.
I think I need to get bold now too. I have a lot of bold
Yeah.
people in touch.
No,
we are,
no,
we are
no.
talking like
Don't do it. It won't fit. It won't fit. Just it's okay.
might not suit you. Eh?
I'm getting bold and get a little bit of belly. I'm done.
Yeah.
Mr. Kalanda, you're in Kenya right now, right?
Yes, I'm in Kenya. Tomorrow we have the inauguration.
Yeah.
We had an election, of course, contested, and it's very sad. We've had almost 3-4 election cycles where the results were dubious. You're not confident that the person you are placing in actually won the election, and that's disheartening. You see how disheartening that is to your country, and it's because your judges can be bribed, your election people can be bribed. We cannot have this culture of Africa where we are always ready to sell our own our values out. So we'll have the president. I mean, the Supreme Court made a ruling, and when you're Christians, you always extend prayers and goodwill to whoever is in authority. However, it makes me all the more realize it's time for power to shift to the people, where we are not waiting to be done for, where we are now saying, let's mobilize, let's form NGOs, let's form whatever groups, whatever it is we need to move on the ground for people to take control of the destiny of their countries. After all, these guys are supposed to be public servants, but they act like our gods and our
bosses.
owners.
You said very interesting concept before. I talk about that all the time. Servant leadership. I've spoken about it. A lot of times, and I think that's what we need. And basically, not even just. I mean, in the context of Africa, we need that a lot because that's the biggest thing. I mean, we lack a lot. And John, I know that you guys when is the election? Because I know we need to do a session with you, just like Kenya, with the election and everything.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, thank you for that. Our election is coming next year, February, by the grace of God. Official campaign starts this month. And it's been interesting so far. So that's just it.
We need to start having that conversation because about it. Because right now, I mean, I have my my best friend. We are hosting show together on Wednesday. GP, he's there in Nigeria as well. He's Nigerian, so I think we need to start having these discussions about that election. You never know how we can impact. That if we start having that. That conversation, and maybe we can have a lot of Nigerians come here and just talk about these elections and what's going on.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this election is a very different one, unlike the one we used to have, because the big wigs, the politicians are finding it difficult to control the narrative. So this one is going to be a bit bloody, what I see, because it's a war between the previous order and the new order. We spoke about Kenya. I think these African leaders, they have the same brain, the same mindset. They just go up there to make connections, and they leave the poor ones on the ground. So that's what we've been doing so far. We moved out from the era of civil war, so they don't want to fight anymore. So they know that they cannot fix the problem. They just pretend, lie to the public, go up there, make their own connections, like you said, inflate contracts. I don't know why all of Africa, is like that. In the inflate contract, for example, a kilometer of road. Nigeria has the most expensive road in the world for a low, for how do I put it, for a developing world with cheap labor. Labor is cheap, in this part of the world, because by the time you convert your dollar to this currency, it's supposed to be very cheap. in Nigeria, we do a, a road, road you can't it by per kilometer, almost $1 million in Nigeria. $1 million for a road. When that price is for American standard, because America, we have the wage, quite expensive there. So in Nigeria, if we are serious, at least what um per km of road is not supposed to be more than $200,000 in a place like Africa, Nigeria, for example. Even in Cameroon, should be a lot more cheaper. Let's like $50,000 for not even asphalt, concrete road. So just go there, inflate it, pass it to their friends, and that's what they've been doing so far. Very clueless people. But right now, we have seen a candidate that is coming with the mind of the people. The man is a disruptor. The man is a disruptor. He's the first Igbo that has that's come out for leadership since the civil war. Since the civil war happened, I don't really know what happened, but I know a lot of people just teamed up that this part of the country will not represent the country. And if you look at the setting of Nigeria, the Igbos are the most industrialized in the country when it comes to the businesses, when it comes to how do I put it, development. Even if you look at the five Igbo states, it leads Nigeria in the best education. There's something called HGI, Human Development Index. They are leading. They're actually top, even than, and still yet the region is marginalized. The government does not pay attention to the region. The seaport was removed from the region to the southwest. So a lot of things have happened over the past 60 years with the Igbo people. That's why the Nigerian growth as is a little bit crippled. If you look at the history of Nigeria, back before the British left the country, the Igbos were leading Nigeria, because back that then we were practicing a region system. We had southwest, east, west, and north. So the east were like the Igbos; they were leading. At that time, the Igbos were ahead of China, so they were doing very well. It was the civil war that regressed, was that dragged them back. Even post civil war, a place whereby they were bombed by different kind of bombs. If you go back there now, they've rebuilt, because they are so smart, they're intelligent. They have, if you see that, even the British, how they qualify the Igbo, they said these people with their aggressive nature, they can be like the Germans. Because if you see them, if you see an Igbo person, I'm an Igbo person, they don't take nonsense. They're always so they're always business, how do I put it, oriented. The largest market in West Africa is in their place. So they control all the markets, they trade everything, the import and the export, that they won't basically doing it. And you said that region should not, as is excluded from. You see what I say about tribalism? You now purposely exclude that region, people from that region, from the federal politics. So he's from the southeast, the first of his kind. That's why people are building momentum. So that's one. Number two is in his industrial. He was a governor in the southeast from 2006 to 2014. He performed very well. That by the time he was leaving, he's the only governor in Nigeria that saved $1 billion. The only governor in Nigeria that saved $1 billion in savings as he was going. He saved $1 billion. There's, in fact, some African countries do not have $1 billion in their reserve, but he was able to save $1 billion. He's the only the state he ran is the only self-sufficient state in Nigeria. They don't borrow. They don't look for, because in Nigeria there's something called excess crude. Nigeria has crude oil, lots of crude oil. So when you sell, they put in the center, then you go and borrow. You see how stupid the African leader is. So they'll go and borrow the money and spend and waste. They don't build factory. In fact, our leader, they don't build factory. They don't. Once they've built flyovers and they built shabby roads, they are gone. They just deceive the people and they park and they go. So it's a different one. It's a different breed. It's one of a kind. And he's the only one that is running from the new generation. Then we have other candidates like Bola Tinubu. That Tinubu was a governor of Lagos. That old man that has his hand is shaking, like that old man, you see him. We call him Jagaban. and that one too is one of them. That one is very, very corrupt. He has very bad record of corrupt in the US. He has been convicted once in the US. He's a lot of atrocities. He was governor from 1999, and if you see the way he has held Lagos State captive, Lagos State GDP is over $300 billion. Lagos State, after Nigeria, so after South Africa, after Nigeria, South Africa, then Lagos State has the highest GDP in the whole of Africa. So it's a very big state, about 21 million people. You know, with a revenue of $10 billion, Lagos has revenue of 10 billion. You will think Lagos State has a gold on the floor, or in Lagos State, we're supposed to have escalators, on the streets with the kind of money they make, but it's not so. Even the BRT lanes that they built was just recent. So the man, has practiced so much financial rascality. He's a thief, pocketed the whole thing in his pocket. Though we're not angry with him. Then the last one, Atiku Abubakar, that one is from North. We just finished with the North. Buhari is from the North. Another North cannot run again for the country because it's going to put the unity of the country, in jeopardy. And he's a Muslim, so you cannot have a Muslim after this past 8 years that Christians have been killed and without any apology. The last one was in Ondo State where they came in and shot priests, and they call themselves, they say we are ISWAP, we're ISWAP. So, and these things, they do it for free and they don't apologize to the Christians. So the Christians are not ready to give their mandate to another Muslim to suffer again for the next 8 years. Like I said, religion and tribalism, at least for now, is going to pay because all these old men, they are very wicked. They don't have the people in there. They are very wicked people because they have no idea. When it's that they get there, they are clueless. They begin to put tribal sentiment so as to convince the people not to focus on them and demand for good governance. So that's the way they behave. So Atiku Abubakar is a very good person. He was a ex-president of Nigeria. Sorry, vice president in 1999 to 2007 in the Fourth Republic. He came with Olusegun Obasanjo. He's also a good man, educated. He implemented the reform that put Nigeria as economy as the first in Africa. Issue of open banking and privatization, and which is what Africa has to do. Key infrastructure does not have to be with the government. At times you have to learn to give people just sell it out to people, to the private sector. So he's also good. He's a good reformer, but the only thing is that he also has a record of corruption. During that period, he was able to privatize a lot of our assets that we could not find again. So far so good. The only candidate with a credible past is Peter Obi, and a lot of people are rooting for him. But of course, tribal sentiments are coming in. People are tagging him that he's an Igbo man, he's a Biafra man. He was in the Civil War, so you can see how funny people can be. Tagging that he's and he has come up open that he is not. So that's what we are seeing. But I know that by the grace of God, with prayers, Nigeria will be delivered and with the vote of the people. So Nigeria is about, right now, we're at our tipping point. If we can get this stage right, the sky is the starting point. We're going to jet off. So, that's what's going on so far. So I'll keep you updated. Election is next year, February. This is September, October. In the next 5 months, we'll have a new president. And I pray that we're going to be ushered into a new era because it's enough. The giant of Africa should be able to produce at least 70,000 megawatts. Nigeria produces less than 10,000. Our road, we have 20,000 square kilometers of road. We have less than 100,000 that are tarred. Our local government are not working. Education is still a problem. Nigeria should be hosting World Cups and big, how do I put it, big tournaments. We should be like the eye for Africa. We should be, because I'm not trying to downgrade other African countries, but Nigeria plays a very significant role in Africa. If you look at the gospel is very powerful in that place. So it's a very pivotal country to Africa. So if we don't
An
do well,
amazing Afrobeat.
yeah,
Amazing Afrobeat.
thank you,
P
Jerina.
Square. P
Yeah,
Square. I was listening to them.
thank you very much. Yeah, they Peter and Paul, the twin brothers, they were separated for long. They came back last year. It's good for them. So,
And not forgetting the classic,
okay,
the original Afrobeat, the 70s. I forgot his name.
Fela.
Fella. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's classic.
yeah. Thank you
You
too.
guys
Yeah,
have amazing music.
yeah. Thank you. Now we have
Just thought I'd.
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have amazing music.
But
Now we
I
want
have to
very
admit though, John, Ethiopia is going to beat Nigeria though. We're still
yeah,
rising.
yeah. I'm happy. I want to see that. I want to see that. Yeah, and I found that Ethiopia is like 7 years behind. I found out just two days ago. Like you use a different
Yeah,
time for the first.
2015. Happy 2015.
Yeah, very funny. I found out yesterday. Wow, it's very interesting. So Mika, I think I'll let the next person speak. So that's it. We just hope, put us in prayer, support, and yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Definitely, John. We'll have those conversation a lot. We need that. Prior to the election of Nigeria. My sister Jerina, it's good to see you.
Hi. Hello, Mika. I'm on the
Miss,
continent.
you come on, get out of here. You're on the continent.
Yes, I'm on the continent. I'm
Uh-huh.
free
Wow.
from Europe, and I'm really enjoying time here. It's great to
Well,
be on the continent.
how is the continent treating you?
It's very good. It's very, very nice.
Mhm.
Despite the rainy season, I don't mind rain.
Yeah.
It's really good. People are friendly. Just doing a lot of work here, and yeah, it's nice to be back in Addis Ababa, capital city of Ethiopia. So just nice to be. I think, was you raising money to have an office in Addis Ababa, Mika? Is that what I remember?
No. This office, we are opening it in Dar es Salaam, where I stay.
Tanzania. Okay.
Near Dar
For
es
some
Salaam.
reason, I thought it was in Addis Ababa. I was going to
Oh,
pay a visit, but it's not here. So.
Oh yeah, it's not, but definitely that will be basically the second country that we're gonna open, But first we are opening here in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. I mean there, and we're gonna start moving here and there, yeah, very soon. So hopefully that will work very soon, and we want to appreciate those people who are giving and all the stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of good updates, coming up pretty much this month, and yeah, in the coming days. So I'm very excited, for that. I'm waiting patiently.
Well done.
What do you have? By the way, welcome. I think we really need to connect. We really need to connect.
Yes.
Are you gonna be only in Ethiopia, or you're gonna move around?
My plan is to go to the rest of the African countries. I have a calling to go to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. It's Nilotic countries, like just follow the Nile. I just have a plan to just not almost physically getting on a boat and going down the Nile, Rwanda, those parts of region. I need to go there and do things. And obviously Nigeria as well. Nigeria and Ghana are doing really great things on the continent.
Yeah.
So that's my next plan. But can I just say something, Mika? Is it I don't know whether it's the altitude, but Africa, I mean, you can only do one thing a day. I've realized you can't, because I'm used to, in the West, I'm used to doing 6 things in one day, like divide up my day. But here I find you get tired. Like you do one thing. I don't know whether it's the terrain, whether it's the lack, I don't know, the air, but to accomplish something, you can only do once a day. Is that what you find, Mika, when you're in Africa, compared to Korea, for example?
Yeah. Okay. Let me, Mika, you want to answer her?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Let me go first, and then you'll go. So for that, I was just having hard time with the connection. For that to be, for me, I felt that when I went to my hometown, actually, like, because in my hometown, it's not even a city yet. It's very small town that people, they're not really busy. A lot of guys, they're just drinking, alcohol. Like, there's not really motivation to work or to create or to do something. So people, they are satisfied with what they have. If you find somebody doing business, then they're selling maybe tomatoes and some onions and all this kind of stuff. So whenever I go there, I don't get motivation to do anything. And even if I get to do one thing, that's it. Like, that's just like I've done something, a really good work. And that's the reason why I decided to live in the city, Dar es Salaam, because there people are working really hard. People are really like, they, for example, I was living with these brothers that they're working day and night. They come back late. Sometimes we don't see each other for a week. We just see each other during the weekend because they're working really late. Today they're here, they're there. So it really motivates me to also do my work and to work as hard as they can. And also throughout the week, I cannot even meet up with my friends because all of them, they're busy working. So because of that, it's easy for me to actually, do things at the same time. Yeah. But whenever I travel and go to some countrysides, it's difficult to get things done.
Yeah, I find I'm finding you get tired by lunchtime. Like, if you haven't done what you've needed to do by this cutoff time, then you just get exhausted. So I've realized that I have to adapt to the climate, and I'm getting things done, knowing that what I can physically get things done at that time. For example, we have so many holidays, blah, blah, blah. So I have to take that into consideration, but also having rest. I think that's one thing I love about Africa is you prioritize rest, whereas in the West, there is no rest. You are encouraged to do 10 things in one day. Here, you can't, it's impossible. I don't know. I mean, that's what I found. So I'm just adapting to their working pattern. Otherwise, you'll get frustrated because it's not like the West, is it? So that's one thing I'm realizing being here.
Wow. Well, I mean, when you come, you have got to visit Tanzania. I'll be right there. We need to
sure, definitely.
No,
it looks like a beautiful country, and that will come. I just think when you've been in the West for a long time, because you've been working so much and you're cramming all these activities in one day, you only realize how tired you are when you come to Africa.
Exactly. You see people relax, like taking their time, and that's why I'm having this conversation today, because I visited Dubai and I was sharing that, and I lived in South Korea and visited a couple countries. I see how much people are aggressive, when it comes to bring change or development, all this stuff. Yes, it has like negative side of it, and all the stuff, but that seriousness, that aggressiveness, it's rare when you go back to the continent. You'll find people like that, but very fewer people. Of course, these days, like youth, they're coming up and like John and Kananda here working really hard and they're losing their hair, as you can see. But but majority of people they don't do that. You don't see that aggressiveness, and that's why I'm having this conversation. They're like, why we don't have that? Why we don't see people who are really aggressive to bring that change, right? Dubai, it's an artificial city that has been created, right? There's no water, outside is heat, you cannot even step outside. But when you go there, you see how, like, you can see the vision. I was looking at the Museum of the Future and seeing all these dreams of 100 years later, like the future Dubai, how they want it to be. Like, they're not done yet. These Dubai, the city you see, they're not done yet. They have like 100 years later, and it's only 40 years. But Africa, we see struggling even after 60 years, in the independence. So this it's, I don't know what you guys are thinking about that.
And I think that's a very good explanation.
Sorry for interrupting you. So I think that's why we had boiled it down to talking about leadership. And John was sharing about the elections next year. We've just finished ours in Kenya. And the reality is, when you don't have leaders who are enablers, like you find Africa doesn't invest much in research and development and those kind of things, of which only visionary leaders would help us do that. You find that our potential gets to be wasted if we do not have the enabling environment from our leadership. And I was even thinking, as our friend John in Nigeria, they're going for elections. One of the ideas I pitched to people here was instead of taking campaign promises from leaders, that this time the people come up with their needs and their priorities. And then no matter which leader there is, you tell them this is like a job description. This is what we expect to be done in our region, in our community. And so if you 4 guys are vying, do you accept this role? And what's your vision to execute this? And what else did you want? You understand? Where we take the narrative from where it's just politicians who come make empty promises, they deliver nothing, and we are left 5 years down the road just where we began, you know? So I think before you joined us, we were just really boiling it down and pinning it down on the fact that leadership plays an important role. If Africa is going to become more developed, if the African nation is going, you know, there are Africans everywhere, in the sense that we have Africans in Britain, we have blacks in Britain, we have African Americans, you know, Pan-Africanism as an idea and as a concept, that if as a race and a continent, we're going to go forward, there needs a special kind of servant leadership to step to the fore. That not only has a vision, but is able to actualize the aspirations of the people that they lead themselves. Otherwise, for now, it's really selfish people. As John mentioned, we have a lot of corrupt leaders, and the sad thing is, they take kickbacks from these companies. Then they send the money abroad. They send the money to Europe, and when they die, it becomes unclaimed assets. So a lot of Africa's wealth is in Swiss banks. It's in what do they call them, offshore accounts, for leaders who they couldn't use it here, but now it is somewhere else, developing other countries.
And so we should really change that.
Exactly.
We should really, you know, spend on African-made products. Like I see it in my country, in Ethiopia, the sneakiness of the Chinese introducing their tacky polyester chiffon fabric in our national outfit. We use our natural cotton, but the way that these foreigners bring ideas, you know, using local seamstresses to change the fashion so they can benefit. Now everyone is, you know, for holiday, they're wearing these disgusting chiffon dresses that are ugly and shiny instead of the natural cotton that we normally wear. And I sat here thinking, you know, who introduced this ugly design? They brought it in because now everybody wants to buy the fabric from China. So we really, you know, I'm really big on made in Africa. I'm really big on made in Africa, made in Ethiopian products. And that's one way of us helping the economy grow. And I just think those that are abroad should really try and push, you know, the local African people to appreciate
what they produce,
homegrown products, and not always look for products outside.
Like in Kenya, there was a time, actually, that's what I was saying, Chinese can be a bit crafty in the sense that there was a time Chinese had come into the country and they were selling smartphones on the street. There was one who even started selling maize. So the idea is, if we are not careful, not only will they bring their fabrics, but they'll bring their labor. And it doesn't make sense that you manufacture the phone. First of all, you took some of the raw materials from Africa. You manufacture it, you ship it to Africa, and then you sell it. So where is the economy being built for the African? If this person is the manufacturer and the middleman and the retailer. So, and that's why also we need to get to manufacturing as Africans. We need to make our own phones, our own. Everybody started somewhere, you know. We have the brains for it. But as I'm saying, you see, when our leaders don't protect our industries, like now in Ethiopia, they should protect your textile industry. Yeah. Otherwise, China will bring in cheap material. Nowadays, you hear that China is selling fish in Kenya. How can you have a Lake Victoria in Kenya, the source of the Nile, and China is finding a way to bring you fish? That doesn't make any sense. But because some leader, corrupt leader, someone, I think John can relate. Oh, John was leaving.
Yeah. So John was saying bye.
I might also need to step out soon. But I think my thought is.
That's the thing we do.
Yeah. Leadership is essential, and young people need to be equipped in leadership so that they step up to the plate, because it's as long as the old guard is and all they do is when your leadership is about how much can you and then how much can you hide in on offshore accounts, how many estates can you own in Australia and in places where when you die you cannot, there's that embarrassment, they cannot say this is my property. So what happens when they die? That those assets and all the wealth they've invested out there is gone forever. It's gone for good. It's in hidden accounts. So some of them don't even trust their wives with those codes. So the idea is we have to have a paradigm shift to realize that our problems can be solved if we change the people first. If we change the people, they'll change the leadership. But we have this mistake we make where we think change will come from top down. You don't just start by changing the government. Change the people from whom you pick the leaders. Then you'll have better leadership. Yeah.
Indeed, Kananda.
So I think you guys will allow me to take off for now. It's been a pleasure. I need to sort out some personal matter. But
thank you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you. Is it Jerina? I don't know how.
Yes, hello. Pleasure hearing your inputs.
Yes. So, Mika, I think I sent you my WhatsApp. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, I just texted you. Talk to you soon, brother.
Awesome. God bless you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Jerina and AJ. Jerina, do you have anything to share? We've got like 3 minutes to close the session.
Yeah, just basically the rich are getting very rich and the poor are getting very poor. And can I just say, why do the rich wear sunglasses indoors? They look really stupid.
That's so true. That's so true.
There's no sun indoors. They look ridiculous. Take the sunglasses off. That's all I've got to say.
I'm gonna find mine very soon.
Some of the things that they do, or like they buy four cakes, like on holiday season, they show off their wealth by buying 5 boxes of cake. Why do you need that many cake? For one is enough. You're a grown person, you don't need that much cake. So yeah, just the little things like that I would like to change just their behavior, walking around holding 5 boxes of cake, when there's people who are starving next to you. Just little things that they do.
Just lost Jerina there for a second. Appreciate my sister. AJ, do you have any closing statement that you say as well?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you, Mika. Interesting points and so many things to swallow. For sure, the problems are layered, not just linear, because dealing with the effects of as you said, the past 60, 70 years That's the problems we see now, and then the ongoing problem. So trying to solve these problems, and then you have the issue of leadership, basically, with the corruptions, and even those that start out with good intention, they can be easily swayed, or if they stand their grounds, then they'll be slapped and they'll be like, okay, give up, and easily turn around and go the other direction. Now that's the other aspect of it. But the one, as far as quality of leadership is concerned, I agree with empowerment. Empowerment is what is needed. Who are they going to empower? The real leaders of communities, tribal leaders, councils, or the youth. If leaders can empower those, because those are the really the actual, these government systems are foreign to the African culture. If you think about it, like republics and all that within the continent is like insane if you think about it. So that's why it's not working. So one thing they can do is empower the local tribe leaders, community leaders, and basically take their words into account, and that will really be a good indication. As far as going, at least going into the proper direction, not at least if they can't solve all the problems, at least go that direction. And the youth and the rest will do the ground work from ground up. But for the leaders, since it's very hard to do the change from the top to bottom, we can only hope for that they do it with the empowerment, which is the characteristics of a leader, and at least get the ongoing problems in perspective, while like folks like us or you, everybody, what we're trying to do from the ground up is catching up with the previous problems, and at some point there will be a junction where I feel like we're empowered and to actually do things that will make change. So so having such perspectives, and I think as far as knowledge is concerned, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know what's going on, what has been done to the people and of all nations of Africa. So I don't think there's a lack of knowledge. It's just a lack of action, for fear, for so many different reasons. So these are the challenges that need to be tackled. So I don't want to keep it long. And so these are all important points, and just integrating all that amongst each nations. And if all can go into that direction, is somehow feels like there will be some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, and we can. I think that's the only way to get to, well, at least a safe place where you can really have some meaningful change come as far as the unity of our continent is concerned. And that's all I have to say for tonight. And thanks for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. And I've learned a lot from each and every one of you. And I'm a huge fan of the Afrobeat and the Fela Kuti and the Femi Kuti. I mean, it's like, I'm like a huge fan. So hope that.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, AG. I love how you talk. You talk with so much wisdom. I'm learning that from you. Appreciate it, brother.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Yes, guys. Well, that's the end of our show today. I appreciate everybody who came here and contributed. I had such a great people here sharing. You know, I love when you have different Africans. They had our brother from Kenya, from Nigeria, our sister in Ethiopia, and our brother in Ethiopia as well. And another sister, I don't know where she's at right now, but yeah, it was beautiful. And she just commented a lot of things in the comment section. So you guys can go ahead and read. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. And let me remind for those who haven't done anything yet to donate for the offices that we're going to open here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Help us out to reach the goal and to start operating very soon. The good news is very soon, guys, we'll show you guys the registration papers and everything. We're still waiting on that, and we'll have feedback very soon. Anyways, guys, I love you so much. I'll leave this page here for a few seconds, and I'll pray and get out of here for now. God, I thank you for today. Thank you for this conversation, for this meeting, for these thoughts. We truly just want to see change in Africa, change in our communities, and change in our mindset as well. As we're working toward that, I know the people on the ground doing something, us motivating one another, talking about it, but as well as the plans that we have to implement. Give us strength, courageous to continue to do what you called us to do. I thank you. I give you praise for everything that has happened here today. In your name, precious Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. All right, guys, I'll leave you for today. Bless you. Love you. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Let me leave this one here. The very beginning of time. So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us here about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.